Not like seeing myself, but it's easier. Yeah, I was paying far too much for it, and I had a couple of sheets, but if you can see this like rippled effect, it was coming through on the paint afterwards.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you coming in here for? Do you want a belly rub?
I know where they are. I don't know where they are. I don't even know they're subscribed, but unless you message me, which I'm grateful of. Right, good afternoon. It's Monday afternoon. I'm back in the workshop. Last week, apologies, no video came out. I've never done it before, even if I've been on holiday, I've had a video out. Essentially, to sum it up, without jinxing it, an opportunity has come up for me and my family, which we jumped at, and I had to do a lot of things last week to enable that to happen, which meant I couldn't film. Now, I don't want to talk too much, well, I'm not going to talk about it, but essentially this opportunity will probably overtake and become a large part of this channel for quite a period of time. So I'm hoping it's actually going to make some really good content, because I sort of am enjoying putting the videos together, although ultimately it's not really, it's just it's a sort of thing that's symbiotic, goes side by side with my day-to-day business. But this might open up another avenue. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to go into it. What I am doing is I'm doing these wardrobes. So for those that commented saying they'd like to see more in depth on me doing the wardrobes, that's what this is going to be. So if you look closely, you'll see there is a integrated handle. So what I've got here is I've got this just old template, which is actually from 6mm moisture resistant MDF, which is from this job, which I didn't film actually, no, but yeah, it's from that job. And I'm just going to elongate that. I'm probably going to keep the same dimensions because it's nice, but I'm just going to put it onto a bigger board because I just want a bit more room around the clamps. And then I've taken an offcut of oak, which I was going to use for just, my lad's going to use some chopping boards for Christmas presents. So I've taken these, just resawn these because I had a great big split and shape down the middle. So I can now thickness and plane that. And then when I've thickness and planed that, I can start reducing that and slicing that down for the back of the integrated handle. I'm not going to film any of that today, and it's only prep work today. I've got the materials. Unfortunately, they should have turned up last week, but we had a bit of a cock up with obviously me doing this other thing, and also there was no one around to unload the materials. It's my fault ultimately. They're coming in this afternoon, which is going to put me behind a little bit. So I'm just going to do all this prep. Then what you're going to do now is you're going to go straight into Tuesday's video, which is going to be me starting to make these wardrobes based on all the gumph I've just spoke about. Let's go. good morning. It's Wednesday morning. I didn't pick you up at the end of yesterday because essentially we are the same place as we are Wednesday mornings and Tuesday night. I've gone through that before. These are all built now. These are for this set of bedroom furniture. You might think, I've not laid them out in order, obviously. There's no real need. One of them's a bed, so we've got a bedside table. These are the two drawer units. That's like a display unit, like a shelf opened unit, sorry. That's obviously the wardrobe, which will have the drawers and that going in. You might think that's taken, a full day just to build those. Yeah, but what I have done is I've dominoed the fronts, lined all them up, ready for the face frames to go on. I've put this solid lipping on here. Everything's dominoed anyway. These are all glued. That isn't, because that will come apart. And I've put this removable plinth bit on. Yeah, it also took me a little bit longer because you can see I've had a mismatch of a mix and match. We probably can't work it out, but of different MDFs I've been using. So we've got Medite Pro on this and Finster. I'm actually going to go back to Finster. So on Finster a couple of years ago, but I was paying far too much for it. And I had a couple of sheets where if you see this like rippled effect, it was coming through on the paint afterwards. But thanks to everyone on YouTube and Instagram and stuff that have been messaging me. It's all from YouTube, but they've been messaging me on Insta as well. And I've actually had a phone call with a chap as well about it. He had the same problem. He actually contacted Finster and they replaced the boards. I've just trialled it out. I've bought 6 sheets of Finster just to try that out, see what the vary. And it's, to be honest with you, it's much better. It's so much better. And I'm confident, based on what he said, that if I have a problem with that, they'll sort it out. Also, I was paying far too much. Now I'm not. I've spoken to my supplier. I don't know what was going on, but I was paying well over. Anyway, so it's taken me a little bit longer because I've been sort of mixing and matching the MDF, trying to basically use offcuts, and sometimes that sort of thing, you can be standing looking at a sheet for far longer than you need to. And what we've also done is we've also put this, so we've got this little plinth detail here. Take that off. The old mat. There we are. That is something I've made for these units, and that's something that I shall continue making. Look at the screen, looking at the screen, not the thing. Right, and basically what that does is the face frame will come all the way down here and go straight to the floor, as will this one. And then there won't actually be a gap there. That will just go, it'll be completely flush. I was rebating these underneath, but it makes it, although you can get it in, you can put it on slots and you can slide it in and bring it back the other way. It makes it far more complicated than it needs to be. So in the future, this is going to be my system, subject to the odd kitchen. And the kitchens don't really matter because I won't do this on kitchens. This is just something I've been doing on sort of standalone units and a couple of bedroom furniture jobs. If you've been watching me all this year, you'll realise I've been adapting this little plinth system, and I really like it because when you've got a painted unit and you open it up and you've either got paint inside, so I'll put a picture up of one now, or you've got the oak inside, and I'll try and get another picture if I forgot one. It looks really nice, really sharp, really professional. And then the face frames and the plinth get scribed into the floor, and it just forms like a bit of a shadow gap afterwards as well, which looks nice. And most importantly, when I put my leveling feet in, or my plinth in this case, like a box plinth I'll build, that will hide it, and I can remove it at a later stage and just readjust the feet. Or in this case, it will also hide the lighting controls for the rebater lights, which go in underneath here as well, underneath that solid oak, and in this groove. So it'll hide all that. And then the reason I was tucking it in was because I was worried about overspill sometimes from the lights coming out here. But I've just worked out a bit of clear silicone down there on the join when it's done, if there is a bit of overspill. But there wasn't on the last one. There was just that tiny bit in the top corner, unfortunately. But other than that, there wasn't any. Which I couldn't silicone because it was in the top, if you remember that. So the benefits of me doing that now are essentially now I can cut all my face frames, all my door fronts, everything. So that's the way around I like to do it. Ideally, I like to build those, get them done, then get all my fronts sized. I mean, I could all do this off SketchUp, but I'd rather, because sometimes things, I have actually changed one thing on this bedside table for argument's sake as I built, just because of what I had. So now I can get all my face frames clipped on, then I can get all my doors done, then I can do this integrated detail. which I've already done the route and the jig and that for, and just finalised on Monday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all them cut, and then I'll pick you back up, and we'll go through that little detail of those. The reason I like to do it this way, and unfortunately I don't think it's going to work, is because then I can jump on spraying. I can go up, take it up to the paint room, I can spray in between making the drawers and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how possible that's going to be, because I'm waiting for Renner to do my invoice so I can pay for my paint, so I can get my paint. I had this with a company a couple of years ago, and I stopped using them in the end. I don't want to stop using Renner because I've used their paint twice now, and I think it's brilliant. I love it. What I did was I wanted to switch over to a different primer. So it meant that I had to email them to say, can I just get the code for the primer? So I emailed my rep and said, can I get you mentioned this other primer, can I trial that? And he's like, yeah, it's this code. Put the order through. But then that's taken like 2 days backwards and forwards. And I've been ringing him as well. And he's now gone, yep, sales office, I've got your order, just got to generate your invoice. I'm like, brilliant. Like, I think it's just because I'm a new customer. And I didn't really want to open a credit account. I don't really like stuff on credit. So now I'm going to have to say to him, look, just open me a credit account so I haven't got this problem in the, because also you can't even pay your invoice over the phone. You've got to bloody do it on bank transfer, which is just another process I've got to do in the middle of the day. Or my wife has to do for me. So it's a bit frustrating. All that means that I'm not going to have to paint tomorrow, even though the doors are going to be made, which then means I'm going to have to jump back on making the other stuff, which again is not much of an issue, but you need like so many days to spray because you've got to prime it all in one day and then top coat really over 2 days. So you nearly 3 days painting. But in that time, that's when I'll make the drawers and all the other stuff, if that makes sense. Sometimes I even make the carcasses because I'll have to jump on another job. It's just ball ache, really. I hate stuff like that. It's partially my fault as well because I could have ordered the paint a few days earlier. I know they chose it on Thursday, I think, last week or Wednesday, and I could have ordered it then, but I didn't order it Monday. So I've got to take some responsibility, haven't I? Right. So I'm going to make them all, go through the detail, lay them flat, then jump on other bits, I suppose. Right, and pick you up in a bit.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you coming in here for? Do you want a belly rub? Do you? You want a belly rub? There you go. You're a little bugger, aren't you? Hey? What are you doing? Hey? Hey? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that enough? Is that enough? No, it's not, is it? You want a little bit more? Hey, you're lovely, aren't you? Hey, you're lovely. You're all in that dust. You wazzock. You wazzock. Hey? Hey? Oh dear. Nice little distraction, isn't it? Yeah, you little bugger. Hey? Right, it's the end of the day. Everything that I've been doing today is up in the paint room now. That's not up there drying, it's just up there keeping warm because I can control the temperature in the paint room. So that's the 6 drawers, the 2 doors. I've also, the end panels, I've cut all those and sanded and put the edges on. These 2 units, I've sanded those. Not those 2, obviously, they're there, but the bedside table and the other unit that was there this morning, I've taken the edges off of those, sanded those, got them ready, and all the end frames, they've all been cut. It's all had a trial run. It's all gone on to make sure it works, which it does, make sure the sizes are right. It's all been sanded to the nth degree, and it's all up there ready to be primed. I'm going to be using this primer, which is my last chance primer, my last one of the water-based primers I'm going to try. I've been trying different primers. I've tried some 2-packs. I've tried Zinsir Bin, the shellac one, the water-based one. My biggest concern is I want everything to be water-based because I want the washing out to be easy, because the washing out here is quite hard because I have to go to a separate unit. So I've got running water and all that, but it's just not in this unit. I've got another bit. Or sometimes I just take the gun home to clean it out. But anyway, so I just want it all to be water-based really for the ease of it. And the quality in the MDF, I think in the last 3 years, let me know if you agree, it's just gone so far downhill. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the problem I had with Finsa before was just a one-off, because this has got all these bits in it as well. Oh no, that's not the Finsa, is it? Where is the bloody Finsa? Oh, I'll take you over to a bit. Yeah, I'm hoping, I'm really, because you know, when you've done something before, yeah, that's 2 examples actually. There's one that, I don't know if you can see that. It's got these like little lines in it, and you can't feel them. You can't feel them, and when you wet it, I can't really see much in the way of difference. And then the other bit, this is what I actually remember from before. This is what I had problems with. These, they're like dimples, but again, I can't feel them. And there's actually a funny texture on the whole thing. And I remember before when I was painting, you saw it after I was painted, but I don't think it looked quite like that. Anyway, I hope I'm not going to have those problems, because it's my last chance really. Otherwise, I'm just going to steer clear of MDF, or just outsource all the spraying and whatnot. But yeah, basically, this is Spanilux. That, to me, was the bollocks when I first started using it. That went downhill, but nowhere near as bad as the Medite. Where is Medite? I've got any Medite? No, I haven't. That was terrible. The Medite was absolutely awful. And it still is. Anyway, waffle. Medite's no good in my opinion. You'll notice on this as well, when I did this, this is just a trial one that I did for Monday. You'll notice that I didn't use a rebate cutter to rebate this little bit here. That's simply because the rebate cutter, the bearing, as it comes round, I often find it'll trace this and it'll start rebating into here, so you have to come clean out. It's just the way I've done it before, and you know, you can delicately do it. I'll try and include a picture of the last one I've done where I did delicately follow the swoop. So if you can imagine, if I rebated that, then the rebate cutter would follow the swoop out here, and it wouldn't know where to stop. You'd have to eye it out yourself. And you can do it tidily enough and maybe put a bit of filler in if you do have a little nick. But when it's all done and dusted, I find this way just as good, because you don't actually see the fact that this is a square cutout. You just see it like from that perspective, it just looks exactly the same. you don't see that this bit's square. And also, if you don't use a rebate cutter, I've got about 18mm there. You can get more purchase for your finger when you reach in for the handle. And obviously I've done this bit on the back square. That's just because it's just easier to put a square piece of oak back in the back. That's just how I've done them. And they look quite nice. Make a feature. Just take the back off of this with a bit of sandpaper. And then you just sand these, which I did on Monday. Just sand these on the corners as well. It just has like a nice little softened effect. And these are solid oak that I run out on Monday. They're about 4mm, I think. So because they're 4mm, they haven't shown any signs of going anywhere. But I've just whacked them in the vise, and I'll just leave them in the vise until I treat them, basically, just so they don't, just when it's bare wood and you thickness and plane it can spring and move like. And I've done more than enough as well, so I'll pick the best ones. It's kind of a serviceable part, isn't it, really? That, I can always get to it afterwards. So the ones I've done before, I've used the veneer of the drawer as the negative detail. That looks really, really good. But I got no choice on these. With the doors, they've got to have the negative detail like into the door, so I've just done them all the same. So yeah, I'm now waiting for this paint, which is a bit frustrating. I'm a little bit annoyed with Renner actually, because I've opened up an account, I've gone through all of that, and I didn't think I'd need to open up a credit account. They were just like, oh yeah, you get the paint in so many days when you order it, which you do. But what they didn't explain was that the ordering process is like between 2 or 3 different departments. There's like sales, inquiries, and you rep and technical. So I'm now waiting for the invoice to come through before they can send the paint. Which is just, and then when the invoice comes through, I've got to go and do a bank transfer rather than. But anyway, it's because I'm dealing directly with Renner rather than a shop. So yeah, I've just got to be a bit more organised perhaps. So that's a bit frustrating. I haven't got the paint, so I don't know what I'm going to do. What I do, I'm going to make the drawers. I've got all these drawers to make. I've got 3 drawers in there, 3 in there, 3 in there, 2 in the bedside table, so I've got plenty of drawers to make. Add that up. I don't know how many that is. 10, 12. Yeah, no. How many is that? 3, 6. Don't know why I'm doing this on camera. 9, 10, 11. That doesn't sound right, but apparently it's 11. 11 drawers I've got to make. They would have been perfect to make and the drawer underneath the desk actually. It's a 12. They would have been perfect to make while I was spraying, and I've got to do the floating shelves. I'm just going to jump on that tomorrow and just carry on making basically. I wanted to be making, then nipping up and spraying, but that ain't going to happen. So yeah, I guess tomorrow I'll probably just run you through either how I make the drawers or how I'll do the floating shelves first, because I'm going to edge band those, so I need them to be dry. Yeah, that's it really. Yeah, let me know how you do yours if you ever do that detail. That's the same. Obviously it looks a bit, that's a trial one, from Monday, but yeah, I've done it a few times. I think it looks quite nice. But yeah, let me know.
Metallica Slayer.
Well, good morning. It's Thursday morning. I've been here about an hour now, just pottering around, doing bits and bobs. I've got a couple of little things on in the background which I'm sorting out. And today is going to be one of those really good examples of making use of the materials you've got. So I've got to do these floating shelves. Now, if you go to, so the house I'm working in, I'm going to do it for, I've actually done a media unit, which I'll put on the screen now. And I've done like mitered, floating miter folds for the floating shelves for that. I've also done miter folds in previous videos as well. I've done quite a bit of miter folding, I think, this year actually. I do prefer it for a floating shelf because the way you actually do it is quite a lot of glue contact on a 19mm board at a 45-degree cut wrapped round. There's quite a lot of like pressed glue contact there. When it wraps all the way around, it's doubled, so that actually forms quite in my opinion, quite a strong engineered sort of bond along the front. And obviously you have a continual batten, which also makes it strong, takes the whip out of it, because MDF has quite a high sort of self weight, so it'll have a high sag. Put you back there. And yeah, basically I've also done it this year where I've sort of followed on from somebody else's work in this video, and I wasn't really that happy of how she wanted me to do the alcove shelves, but it made me think about what I need to do to get them slimmer, because she wouldn't go for my preferred method because A, she'd already had someone start the job,
and B, she liked them to be quite slim. I think these in this bedroom for this young lad, I think they need to be quite slim. They need to look a bit slimmer than perhaps the chunkier ones I've done before. So I'm going to do them slightly different. I've just been onto Hafley's website, had a little look at the brackets I want to use. Just doing a little mock-up drawing now to make sure it'll work. And then I'm just going to utilise what materials I've got. So I'm going to film it. You're going to see me putting it all together throughout the day because I've got to let the glue dry and stuff. Let me know what you think. Really, is it acceptable to do it this way? Because it is going to be done in scraps, subject to the face veneer board in the front. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, that's all done. Right, as I said, I've been doing it amongst other bits. I've started making the drawers as well for all the other units, but I just thought I'd film that process because it's slightly different to what I've done before, and don't really know if I've ever done it that way. I've done it similar before. So what we've got is, we've got the floating shelves here, and as you can see there, these are actually, they're going to be 2.3 when they're done. So this little bit actually gets cut off. You see there's no protection there, it won't last anyway, you can see that. So actually, if you go about 50 million, that's actually in. There's a solid bit in there. These ones are finished, they'll go against the wall, or get scribed against the wall. And then you've got this end here, which is seen. Yeah, and then you'll see that I've just rebaited in the back. It's not the tidiest, but it does a job. That's just to take the bracket. And then these are actually going to go in there as well as like a stiffening batten. They're 16 mil, so I've got some 16 mil Sapili. Just thought I'd do it in harbour because I had some left over, and you just know that it's going to be a bit more stable and better to work with when you fit it to the wall. So what I'll do actually, I think I'll just put a little sketch, because I had it in mind. I'll just drew it out on a bit of a board, but just when I edit this video, I'll whack up on the screen now a little mock-up on SketchUp what I'm planning to do. And actually I might be able to include the bracket, because I've just found out a really wicked feature on SketchUp, which I might try and include if the video is not going to be too long. But anyway, so less talking. Yeah, basically that's it. And the idea is, rather than, so before I've done them in 18 or 19 mil, the idea this way around is that it keeps the weight down, keeping it slim. You know, they're 32, no, what are they, 70, so 36 mil. Yeah, and it's just, obviously 36 mil could have been 218s end to end and routed out, but this way I'm just keeping the weight down. They're stiff. I mean, they're pretty solid. Look, that's me picking it up from the end. You know, and anyone that knows anything about MDF, that would whip and sag like mad. And, you know, even if it was solid MDF. So by the time it's all pressed and laminated, if you like, it's pretty solid. Yeah, that's going to be it for the day, really. And then tomorrow I'll just crack on making the drawers, which I might not film because I'm a bit under the weather and I just want to get it done. Update on the paint is, I don't know when that's coming still. I'm going to ring him now, actually. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. All right, good afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. First time I've picked you up, isn't it? Yeah, basically I've been going at it today. I've been going like hell for leather, really. I've got a load of rubbish everywhere, which I've just had the skip changed. So I've got loads of things I can jump on with now. The paint has arrived. That's here. The Renault Italia paint. So you've got to make a decision, ain't you, really? It's like halfway through the day. I don't really want to start priming because it's a new primer, this 641 I'm using. I think it's 641. Yeah, on that 641 that I'm using, I want to basically spend a little bit of time with that, with the Finster Hydrofugal, and just make sure that just want to come up with a system that I think it's going to be the one, but so that's why I want to spend a bit of time with it. Anyway, I've got all the drawers done. They're all rebaited out, dominoed, ones that need pocket screw in there, pocket screwed. Obviously there's a lot of components there, you can see that. I've got the drawer bottoms done, and I was just going to jump on that. But then I thought, because I've done these a slightly different way from yesterday, I've just jumped on the desk and the bedside table top. So they're on there now, drying. And I'm going to run those through the edge bander because the edge bander's got the 40mm edging in, and it's a lot better to, let me just flip you around actually. It's easier, I can see myself. I don't like seeing myself, but it's easier. Yeah, because I've got the 40mm edging in the edge bander, it's just a lot easier to run that out now rather than change over and put the 22 built back in. Because what happens is you've got to like recalibrate it a little bit, and when you've got it running really, really well, you're just best leaving it. So I'm going to run those two bits through. It's only 2 bits. Probably going to just do a little bit of notching on the back for the LED lights as well, so I don't have to do that on site, just where they channel through into each set of drawers. Just a little bit of prep work really, because I've already worked out. So I could have had this finished this week if the paint would have turned up Wednesday, because I'm only going to lose like an hour and a half each day doing the painting. I could have just stayed a bit later, but I've already worked out I'm going to have to do Monday now. And then obviously, annoyingly, I'm going to have to still come in Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll book this job in for Thursday next week, just to give it a bit of, just to give it its coats. but I can only be in here for an hour. So I booked a couple of little jobs in for the beginning of the week. Yeah, that's it really. I'm sort of fully aware that I'm spinning you around, that this week has been it's been me getting back into it, because obviously I didn't work for a week. Try and get a nice background so we can end the video. So, yeah, bit of OSB, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah, so this week's been a little bit of getting back into it, because obviously I didn't film last week, although I was working pretty hard, trust me. But yeah, if there's anything that anyone wants to see, just let me know, because I'm winging it really, and I know that I'm repeating a lot of the same stuff, and I can't help what I do on a day-to-day basis if I'm working in someone's house, how much I can and can't film. Like next week, I'm going to have a day hanging a door and fixing a door for somebody. And I've got an existing customer I'm going to go back and see. I can't help that. Like, I'll just film what I film. But if I'm in the workshop doing something, or, if anyone's got any ideas even of what I could film, just let me know. Really, really appreciate it. Most importantly, like I said a couple of weeks ago, probably my last video, I've been on top of the algorithms. Not algorithms. What's it called? Analytics. If you now are watching and you're not subscribed, and you've watched more than one, just subscribe. Do you know what I mean? Because people aren't. Quite a lot of people aren't. And I know who they are. I don't know who they are. I don't even know who's subscribed. But unless you message me, which I'm grateful of. Cool. See you next week.